What's cracking, everybody? This is the Carter117, aka Hodor, your boy. Welcome back to the Overwatch Custom Elite Controller Configuration Series. Ooh, when I wrote that, I did not think it would be that much of a tongue twister. Anyway, click on a character's picture above to view their custom configuration. But in this video, we're going to take a look at the custom setup for McCree. First, what we need to do is take a look at McCree's abilities. Now, McCree, personally, is one of my favorite characters to use. I think he's badass, and he really is the deadly guy in this game. His ultimate is Deadeye. Basically, whenever you hear, it's high noon, you know, and then you hide around a wall and hope that you don't get shot in the face. Yeah, that one. It's pretty dirty. Basically, you're holding it on in the area and letting everyone's face turn red before you pull that trigger. LB is the combat roll ability. This ability is super clutch, especially when you need to close up a distance between another character, as well as being able to refill your gun. If you didn't know this, the combat roll instantly refills your mag. And then also you have RB, which is the flashbang, which stuns enemies for a second or two, and it really is actually efficient against tracers when I love using it the most. Then you have his gun, which basically, when you pull the right trigger, you're getting one shot each, and then when you pull the left trigger, it's fanning out the rest of the bullets within the chambers. Now that we know the character's abilities, let's take a look at my in-game sensitivities. First, you want to go to Options, hit the right bumper twice, and then hit A once you're on the screen. This will give you a drop-down menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to McCree and select it. Using the drop-down menu will only change the settings for the selected character that you're using. So I'm only changing the controls for McCree, which is a pretty awesome setting to have in this game because, you know, switching characters mid-game can be quite a hassle, especially if you go into sensitivities and change them all up if you switch to a character that needs more or less sensitivity. And you should definitely take some time to adjust these sensitivities for your own personal play style while using whichever character you're using. But for McCree, this is a good place to start. For my horizontal sensitivity, I set the setting to 17, and for the vertical sensitivity, I also set it to 17. The reason I did this is because McCree still needs a little bit more of precision accuracy, but it's not as needed as if you're playing a Widowmaker or Hanzo or a Genji. So I find with that, around 17, 18 is really the good sweet spot for me. Now that we've taken a look at my sensitivities, let's check out the Xbox Elite Controller's settings within the Xbox Accessories app. Before I get into button mapping, I just want to point out that the main goal when mapping buttons for any custom setup is to be able to maintain control over the thumbsticks while using your character's abilities. So now that you guys kind of know that and kind of what my goal is, let's get into what the button mapping is. So for the button mapping for McCree, a lot of times I use the flashbang a little bit more than the combat roll, or at least that's the first order of my progression to slow someone down. So I put the RB on the left trigger. I find that it's a little bit easier to get to back and forth between shooting and throwing the flashbangs. From that, I put the left bumper on the lower right hand paddle for the combat roll, which makes it so that way I can get there quick and I don't have to move my fingers around too much, so I can maintain accuracy. And then I have the left trigger, so fanning of the hammer to the lower left hand paddle. I initially put that on the left bumper, but I found that I was having trouble getting to it after throwing the combat roll. Usually it's a really quick motion of flashbang, shoot as much as you can, quick roll, fan the hammer. That way you can kind of take out tanks and other characters a lot easier. And to me personally, the other two, the A and the B on the top left and right paddles, really just isn't that important. I don't really use that much. I don't see you really using it that much for Overwatch as well. Now for the left stick, I have it set to aggressive. For most FPS games, I set the left thumbstick to aggressive, so that way I can strafe left and right a lot easier, making me a harder target to hit, especially against a Hanzo who likes to dome me every time I run around a quarter. Now I also tune up the aggressiveness a little bit to the 8th marker for McCree, just so that way I can still maintain a little bit of accuracy while I'm going left and right. Just made it a little bit easier for me. Now for the right stick. Me personally, I like using McCree with aggressive setting on the right hand stick. That's because I don't find that he needs to be the most accurate person in the world to get body shots and headshots and do a great deal of damage. So I left him on aggressive, but what I did is I turned it down to the 4th notch on how aggressive it is, so that way I get a little straighter of a line in my movement speeds. I don't want to overshoot or undershoot as much as possible, so for this, it really worked for me. Now for the triggers. I definitely like to have hair triggers whenever I'm playing any FPS game, so what I want you guys to do is set to 0 and 1 on both triggers. This way I can pull it up and aim real quick, or fan the hammer quick, or throw my flashbang quick, and then I can pull the right hand trigger as quickly as well. So that way, as soon as I'm touching the button, it is registering that I'm hitting the button. I like this setup in first-person shooter games because the more bullets I can put down range, the more chances I have of hitting my target and getting kills. And last but not least, for the vibration, turn it off. The only time that I say leave a little bit of vibration on is in the left and right sides of where it vibrates in your palm. So that way you get a tiny bit of feedback for when you're getting shot. It just kind of helps, especially if you're a more visual person like me. I kind of like to feel a tiny bit of when I'm getting shot, but not enough to mess up my accuracy or aim. Alright guys, well, that's all I have for the McCree setup. Definitely check after this video. I left a graphic that has how to actually set up the configurations that way, just in case you don't know how to do the basic setup of an Elite controller. I appreciate you guys tuning into the video and to this series. Make sure you keep checking back. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel as well, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos on configuration setups, and I definitely don't want you guys to miss anything. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.